Hello, everyone, and hello, Tristan. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today. I'm Ceylan Rowe, and I'm running for state rep here in the 12th Worcester District. Tristan, I absolutely love meeting people like yourself, the younger generation who's super politically engaged and involved. I wish when I was in high school that I knew that my legislators were accessible, and I wish that I knew that I could advocate for legislation. And so I get really motivated and excited to meet people like yourself. So can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how you got politically active?
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for having me too. So my name's Tristan, as Ceylan said, and I am a current junior in high school and a gun violence prevention organizer. So how I really got started was the 2016 presidential election. That really just kind of fired me up. I just saw everything that Trump was saying, and then once he was elected, what he was doing was just absolutely devastating to me. And I didn't really know how to get started at first, but after the Parkland shooting in February of 2018, I decided I had to do something. So I went and attended the march down in DC. And then that summer, I was like, I want to actually do something with my political voice, right? I have power. I saw all these thousands of other students my age standing up and actually taking their power. So I looked around for different campaigns, and I found a campaign that summer in my congressional district that I could help out on. And that's kind of what started me on this political journey that I'm on. And it's just been really amazing to talk with different legislators and different candidates like yourself, who really inspired me to get more involved and really kind of fight for the issues that I care about most.
Awesome. I'm really glad that you went to DC and that you've been active. And so can you tell everyone a little bit more about the legislation that you've been advocating for, the issues you care about?
Yeah, definitely. So for me, gun violence prevention is kind of the main issue that I advocate for. And right now, there's a lot of federal bills that we're advocating for, like universal background checks and things like that, that are really, really helpful. But there's also some legislation here in Massachusetts that we care about a lot, too, because even though Massachusetts is one of the safest states in regards to gun violence prevention or in regards to gun violence, there's still a lot that we can do. Right. So, kind of the main bill that I'm advocating for is H 2045, which is all talking about gun violence data. So back in 2014, an amazing gun violence prevention bill was passed that had a bunch of different issues in it that were addressed. And it was absolutely amazing. And the state started collecting a lot of data about gun violence, but we haven't really done anything with that. So this bill really kind of catalogs all of that data and ensures that there's a report made every 2 years that kind of goes through all of the different violence that's happened relating to guns. And it's really a great way to inform our legislators on what they should be doing to prevent more gun violence. Right? So it's great to be collecting this data, but we have to actually do something about it.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Yes.
yeah. So that's a great thing about this bill is that's really what it focuses on. And then some other issues that we really want to address here in Massachusetts is straw purchasing, which is where somebody goes and buys a gun for somebody who might not be able to otherwise. And that's where a lot of crime guns are brought into our state that are used in violence. And a lot of that's coming over from New Hampshire, where somebody who might not be able to purchase a gun sends somebody else to purchase that gun in their name. Uh, Also, some of that happens here in Massachusetts too, where they just have somebody else go and buy that gun. So there's really two bills that really focus on that. One of them prevents somebody from buying uh, more than 15 guns a year, right? So there have been cases where people have bought like 45 guns in a year for one person, which is just absolutely ridiculous and incredibly dangerous too. So this limits it to only 15 a year, which nobody should ever even come close to. But that really puts a cap on how much this can happen. And then another one prevents somebody from buying more than one gun a month, right? So that even brings that down to 12 guns a year, right? And that ensures that we don't have somebody going in and purchasing 5 guns at once, right? So it kind of spreads it out more at least and really prevents how many new guns can be brought onto the streets and then possibly create more harm.
All of those legislation, those bills would be really important to pass. And so where are they at right now?
So a number of them are kind of still in committee. Actually, I believe all of them are still in committee. They've at least once passed through the first committee, that they were in and are now in the House Ways and Means Committee. And we're really just kind of waiting for legislators to kind of get together, hold a hearing for it, and hopefully move that bill forward. With the coronavirus crisis going on right now, everything is kind of put on pause, especially surrounding that. But we are definitely hoping that our legislators continue to push that forwards.
Absolutely. So, what advice do you have for students such as yourself who are like, I'm really frustrated with what's going on? Because one of the main issues, there's two issues that when I talk to high school students and middle school students about, they care about the environment, climate change, and then they also care about gun sense legislation. And so, if there's a student who wants to get engaged and has no idea how to get started, what advice do you have for them?
So I think the best thing for them to do is first identify what issue they want to really get involved with. So if it's climate change issues, they should really kind of focus on that. Or if it's gun violence prevention issues, they should really focus on that. Of course, you can do lots of other things. Like I tried to also do some climate change advocacy and things like that. But it's great to kind of find what's your real passion. What do you really want to focus on? And that's super important. And then it's really just a good bit of research, right? So there's lots of organizations out there, and they almost all have social media presences, especially the ones that are youth oriented, really focus on the social media because that's where they find other young people. So there's lots of Instagram accounts, Twitter accounts of these organizations. And really, sometimes the best way is just put in your region or your town, right? So if you live near Boston, you can just put in like Boston gun violence prevention groups, and you're going to get something that comes up, whether that is March for Our Lives or Violence in Boston. There's a bunch of different organizations that address it. Stop Handgun Violence, all these amazing organizations that address gun violence prevention. And then you can get involved in them. And I would really recommend just reaching out to those organizers who are who lead these organizations, whether that's even just an Instagram direct message. You can just start there. And these people are always looking for new members, right? We're so excited when we get somebody who reaches out to us and wants to get involved. And we will be more than welcoming to help them kind of figure out their path, what they want to focus on in our organization. And that's just really the best way. And I would also recommend, like with climate change policy, kind of find what group is focusing on issues you really care about. So there's a lot of different organizations in Massachusetts, whether it's Sunrise Movement or Boston Youth Climate Strike, all these different organizations, and just find the one that really speaks to you the most and reach out to them, and they'll be more than willing to help you out.
And a lot of them have different chapters. And if there isn't a chapter in your area, you could start one, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like or almost all of these organizations have a national presence too, right? It's always great to kind of work with community organizations that are just in your community. Those are great too, but there's a lot that have national organizations, and on their websites, you can find how to start a chapter. And I'm sure that they will give you all the information that you need to really help found your own chapter. And I'm certain even in your own high school, or if you have friends who go to different high schools, you can really quickly kind of find a good group of kids who and other people your age who are interested in these same issues and might be willing to put in a couple hours a week to really fight for these things that matter to them.
Absolutely. And I love how when you were talking about the social media, you did not mention Facebook.
Yes,
Because the younger generation is not on Facebook.
very true.
I'm on Facebook.
Yes.
Um, and Instagram and Twitter. No, but this is really great advice. Thank you so much, very much for your time, Tristan. Thank you so much. Is there
Yeah,
anything else you
thank
want to
you.
add?
I think really the last thing that I want to add is to all these young people, like definitely reach out to these organizations, right? Like I did emphasize that a lot, but I think it's super important for us as young people to use our power, right? And fight for the things that matter to us. Because sometimes the older generations don't always acknowledge that these things are our future, right?
Mhm.
And they really matter intrinsically to us. And we need to go out there and say, hey, hold up. We don't agree with what's going on. And this is what we want. This is the change we want for our future.
Yep, absolutely. You are such a great role model. Thank you so much for your time. And I wish you all the best in your advocacy. And I look forward to cheering you on in all that you do, Tristan.
Thank you so much. And great luck on your candidacy.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.